Okay guys, so let's talk about what happens when we finally charge the user. Obviously, we don't want to dump some message right here. We're going to be doing a number of things. First thing is we're going to set a session and we're going to flash, and this is going to be a success message, and it's just going to say cart or purchase successful. Wait for our email. Okay, so wait for our email because we're going to be sending an email to the user. Okay, just like we're going to do in real life. So right here, we're going to say cart destroy so that we empty our cart. And right here, we're just going to be returning a redirect to the user to our home page. Okay, so where does our email come in? Right here, we're going to be sending an email. And how do we send emails in Laravel? As of version Laravel 5.3, we have a very simple way to send emails. So PHP artisan right here, and you're going to see that command. So we have a make command, which is mail. So right here, PHP artisan make mail. And this is simply going to send email with Laravel. So let's set that up. So PHP artisan make a mail, and the name of this mail should be purchase successful. Okay, it can be whatever you want, but the more descriptive it is, the easier it is to interact with. So if I head over to my directory right now, I should have a new directory in my apps directory, and that should be mail. And we have a purchase successful class created for us. Okay, so everything you need to know right here for this constructor, obviously you can send in some data to this, and right here we're just gonna say return this view name, view.name, and this is the email view that we're gonna be using. Okay, so let's just set that up, and we're just gonna create an emails directory, and we're just gonna say purchased.blade.php. So let's set that up. So right down into our directory, we'll just have a new emails, and we're gonna set up a purchased. So purchased.blade.php, and right here, this is where your email template is gonna be. Okay, so whatever you want to send, you're gonna send it here. So purchase successful right here, and we're just gonna say, hey, everything was bought successfully and blah blah blah, return to our site, or whatever we want to say. Okay, so I'm just gonna have an H1 right here, and this is just gonna say thank you for purchasing. Okay, and whatever message you want to send, this is where you're gonna send it, right? So right here, I'm just gonna generate some lorem ipsum text containing a message I want to tell my user. Okay, so thank you for purchasing, and that's it. Okay, and then you can just tell him, okay, we're gonna ship your books this time or that time or whatever. Okay, so that's what we're gonna be doing. And how do we send that email? So this is all we're gonna be doing. So this build method, we're gonna build the message. So return this view, which is right here, and it contains the data for that email. So right here, how do we send data into this using the construct? So for example, if we were collecting the name of the user and we want to pass in to that mail, everything is going to be done right here in our checkout controller. So first of all, let's just use the mail facade. And this mail facade, obviously, if you check out in your app.php, it's registered right there. Okay, so if I go down right here, discover we have a mail, and this is for the mail class. Okay, so we can send a mail. And how do we send a mail? We'll just say mail, and we need to define to whom we are sending the mail, and we're gonna get the request email. So remember, it was called Stripe email. So we'll get the request Stripe email, and we are sending to that person. And next, we are sending what email? Remember, we'll just get a new instance of the email we just created, which is in the app mail directory, and it's called right here purchase successful. So it's a purchase successful.php, right? And if we want to pass any data, we can just pass it right here. So if we had maybe customers, we'll pass it into the construct, but right now we don't have anything. So we're just going to send that email to that user, and that's all we need. But obviously, if we're sending emails, we need to define our drivers, right? So let's set that up. So we'll just set up our mail trap, and I'm just going to go to my mail trap account and get my public keys and all that stuff. Okay. So I'll get into my inbox and my demo inbox, and right here I'm just going to copy this information. Okay, so I'll paste that in for the username and for the password, I'll paste that in. Okay, so mail trap is set up, and now we can send emails. So first to a particular user, and then we send a particular email. So everything should work perfectly. So let's go ahead and make a new purchase. So right here, I'll just add this one to cart, and it sends me to my cart, and I'm gonna say I need some few copies. Right here, I'll add another one, and we can check out, and here's our amount. And when we check out, we should actually send that email, right? Yeah, but one more thing we haven't configured. In our mail.php, we need to configure the default from user, right? So right here from, let's just go ahead and say it's from Udemy e-commerce practice, and we're just gonna say practice hello@example.com. Okay, so just like that. And right here, we should go ahead and pay with card, and I'm gonna pass in some email. So f@email.com, and right here the 4242404040 card, and right here 1223, and the next 123. So before we pay, let's check out and make sure everything is fine. So session flash, and obviously we need to import the session, and we get we destroy the cart, we send the email, and we return a redirect back. So let's hit the pay button, submitted, sends to our server, and we are redirected to the home page of our cart. So let's go ahead and check mail trap. Hopefully we have a new email. Okay, so right here we have a purchase successful email that says thank you for purchasing, and it contains our blah 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 text, and it's from Udemy e-commerce practice and hello@example.com, and this is the email we sent to. Okay, so everything looks working perfectly, right? So finally, before we end up, let's just go ahead and set up Toaster so that when the user performs some actions in our cart, it doesn't look as boring as it looks right now. Okay, so for us to set up Toaster, remember we've already done this. We just need to set up the CDNs. So I'll just go ahead and say CDN Toaster, and right here I'm just gonna get the CDN data. So right here for the toaster.main.css, I just need to copy this, head over to my front.blade.php, and at the top, since it's CSS, I'm just gonna put in a link to that style sheet. And then for the JS right here, I'll just copy it. I go down, create some script tags, and I'll put it in a source, and I'm good to go. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna put in my if statement to check the session, and since I'm putting it in my front.blade, it's gonna be in all pages, right? So I'm just gonna say if the session has success, then we're gonna do something. So end if right here, we're gonna say toaster.success, and we're gonna pass in the data that we want to be displayed. So we'll say session get success, right? So we'll say get success right here, success right there. Okay, and obviously we're supposed to be echoing out that data, so let's echo it out right here. Okay, so if there is a session set as success, echo out the session right here and toaster.success that. Okay, so everything should work perfectly right now. Let's go ahead and add to our carts and see if we have that message, because remember in our shopping controller, when we add to cart, we are actually setting a session, right? So let's see that. So rapid add, okay, we aren't setting a session, but let's just set that there. So session flash, and would say success, and would say product added to cart, right? So I'll just copy this and also make sure I put it in the normal add to cart method right here. Okay, so I refresh. Now let me add this to cart. Class app session not found. Okay, it always gets me, guys. It always does. I'm sorry about that. So let me refresh. Products added to cart right there. We have beautiful notifications, right? So we can view our carts and we can add right here. So let's go ahead and make the session also available when we delete our cart right here. So we just say product removed from cart, and Also right here, increment, we're gonna say product quantity updated, right? So we'll just say updated right there. And also when we decrement, we also want the product quantity to be updated, so we'll just say product quantity updated right there. And right here, everything should work. Product quantity updated. And if we delete this from our cart, also it should show that product removed from cart. So everything seems to be working perfectly. But one last thing, we don't want the user to check out when there's nothing in the cart, right? So what we're gonna do is where we have our checkout method, so this get request right here, we're gonna have a check. So we're just gonna say if cart content count right here equals 0, session flash, and we're just gonna flash an info, and we're gonna say your cart is still empty, do some shopping, right? And we're just gonna return the user back. So return redirect back. So we obviously need to set our notification if there was an info, right? So let's set that up. So if it has info, we're gonna get the info and we're gonna trigger toaster.info right there. Pretty simple. Okay, so let's try that. If I refresh right now, I'm redirected back and your cart is still empty, do some shopping. So everything looks cool with our cart, and obviously you can update this application to do whatever you want. For example, save the purchases in the database and stuff like that, and also send more fancy emails to your users, and also maybe create something in the administration panel where you can actually see the number of products that have been purchased and all that. Okay, so this is how we charge in Laravel, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.